Hey, we're live. Welcome to the First and Goal podcast where we talk Kansas City Chiefs football. Please do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps us grow, man. We truly appreciate it. We're going to jump on in here. Hey, I got my boy Tremaine Umbles in the building, super Chiefs fan.
What's good? What's good, everybody?
My co-host Shelton, he's out. He's waiting to get his new phone, but he'll be back. Maybe we'll have a 3-man team in the future. You never know. I appreciate you being here, though.
Thanks for having me, bro. It's a blessing, bro.
No
It's an
doubt. I
honor.
mean, you've been in the comments, so I'm like, hey, I need a co-host. Let me see. I put out a post. I knew you was going to say I'm down, so
Yeah, man.
I should
Yeah.
have just inboxed you in the first place.
Yes, sir.
So, Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Baltimore Ravens in the season opener 27-20. The game was intense with the Ravens trailing by 7 points and deep in Chiefs territory with only 4 seconds left. Lamar Jackson connected with tight end Isaiah Likely in the end zone, but the touchdown was overturned on review, sealing the Chiefs' victory. That was almost a total loss.
That
That
was tough, man. That was tough watching.
was tough watching, man. End of your seat football season opener. You got to love it, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's jump on in here. Let's talk offense first. We put up 27 points on Baltimore's defense, but we left some points on the board. What's your thoughts on how the offense looked week one?
Man, I actually thought they looked better than what people expected, honestly. You think Baltimore Ravens, good on both sides of the football, even though they're playing us at home, they're playing with, some extra incentive, just us beating them in the AFC Championship. I'm thinking that, just to get our legs under us, it might be some things to work out. But we quickly saw Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, especially, just, really doing what they're there to do, scoring the football. They lined up on both sides and were running some trips and some slants. And, when they're both on one side, they're making those corners and those safeties choose wisely. And they was making the wrong decisions, man. And it was just a blessing to see. Honestly, it shows us what we got going forward is going to be something that's sustainable.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why people thought that we wasn't going to look as good as we looked. I mean, and we don't even have Marquise Brown out there.
Yeah, man.
I knew that we was going to be moving the ball. And as far as the Ravens on defense, I mean, they lost their number one tackler, the number one sacker, the number one interceptor. They lost their defensive coordinator. I honestly thought they were going to struggle. They did a little better than I thought they were going to do, honestly.
Yeah.
But we left some points on the field. I mean, Juju missed. Pacheco had a ball where, he dropped it. He probably could have scored on that. I mean,
Touchdown, yeah.
Xavier Worthy in the end zone, a little overthrown to him. So, I mean, that's possible 3 touchdowns that we could have had.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that what I saw when I saw our offense clicking, the biggest thing was like, can our defense give us a shot? Because now we know we have the pieces on offense. We're not playing the game where we're dependent on defense, kind of like last year. It was a tough year, watching that, but we came through. But the blessing was that our defense, though, they scored 20 points. I mean, you got our best corner being Trent McDuffie. We're depending on people like Josh Williams, and
Jalen Watson.
Jalen Watson, and then boy's back from the injury. Who was that?
Yeah, Reed.
Who was the other guy from the injury? He was injured all last year. Number 6 or not? Number 6.
Cook.
Cook. My goodness.
Cook back.
Yeah, man. And they were clicking. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were tackling. We weren't trying to be lazy. We were hitting hard, and I think we came in the game just with the right intensity.
Right. Jalen Watson led the team in tackles with 11.
Yeah.
Seven solo, 4 assist tackles. So he had a great game.
And the Chiefs moved to 10-2 with Andy Reid as the coach. It's crazy. It's been 12 years, but bro, 10-2 out of 12 seasons winning that home opener. Yeah. Chiefs are always coming strong. Andy's opening that playbook up kind of extensively. And that's the thing about these wide receivers playing with the Chiefs. And you think Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice now his second year, is that our playbook it's something else. It's hard to learn.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What me get back over here. I was setting up a comment because you can
Yes,
go to
sir.
the comments. So I was saying, "What's up to the people?" let's keep it moving. Let's stay with the offense. But Xavier Worthy, 2 TDs in week 1. Can he keep that up?
I think that he can keep up being consistent, average of maybe 80 yards per game. The ball's going to
Woo!
get spread around, you know
And
what
he,
I mean? Because you got Rashee Rice, you got Xavier Worthy, you got Marquise Hollywood Brown. You still got Travis Kelce playing underneath routes and Juju and all them. So those underneath routes are going to be very important for us down the stretch. But definitely, I think that Xavier Worthy, maybe not 2 touchdowns per game, but he's good for at least 80 yards per game just based off of his pure talent alone, just
well,
creating things.
what he have? I think he had 2 catches, 45 yards.
Yeah.
Then
He
he had the
was,
one run for 35, was it? Touchdown.
yeah, it was almost like a sweep. Like, you know what I mean? We ran man in motion. He came back the other way, and
Right.
they were expecting us to do a misdirection and go left. He stayed right, and our blockers did what they had to do.
Right.
So that
Just
was awesome, man.
80 yards. I don't know if that's sustainable because we got so many weapons.
Yeah.
I think each week it'll be 80 yards here, 100 yards here.
Yeah.
But
But if
just
you
as long as
average
he
them all
stays
out, yeah.
healthy. If he
Oh, yeah,
stays
yeah.
healthy, and I think he opens up that middle so much because he goes deep. I mean, look how easy the middle was. I mean, getting the ball to Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
It it,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it was just simple. I mean, them was almost high school routes, right? But they were so worried about the outside
You
that
got it.
right across the middle, dumping, boom, yards after
Yeah.
the catch.
They
That
had
boy was gone.
chances to tackle him, though, too. When he was running that,
Oh, he's
especially that
breaking
long one.
tackles.
But he's breaking the tackles. He's so shifty as well. So it's
For
hard to bring
sure.
somebody like him down. And I love what that does to defensive coordinators in the future when they try to play us. They're going to be really preparing to stop that, not realizing that all that's doing is strengthening people like Travis Kelce, who really
Right.
didn't see the football as much as we normally are used to in that game.
Yeah,
But
he had
everybody was okay with it.
Trav had 3 catches, 34 yards. 23 was his long.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was a silent night for him because he wasn't really needed. And you know what's going to make Travis last longer than a year or two more is if he ain't the guy that has everything on his back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he's there when we need him, boom, third down, boom, hit him.
Yeah.
Second down, hit him.
And especially coming in the playoffs. And then another stat I read, I mean, don't quote me on this, but it was like all last year we only had like 8 plays that Pat threw that were over 20 yards. And
Right.
we had 2 of them in one game, our very
Right.
first game, and with
Right.
Xavier Worthy.
Right.
So that just lets you know.
And he had the highest average he had was like 10.7 yards per throw or something compared to it was like 7 last year or something.
Yeah.
It's somewhere
Yeah,
close
man.
to that. So we can see the difference already just stretching the field, getting down there.
Yeah.
I loved it. All right, here we go. We'll just keep it up. Rashee Rice was the top producing wide receiver with 7 receptions, 107 yards. To me, that Mahomes to Rice connection was simple and looking pretty unstoppable. What do you think about that connection?
I think that it's a continuation of last year. Now they got a whole year of rapport that they built with each other. Where Pat, he knows Rashee Rice's tendencies. Man, I mean, now coming into this year, I mean, I even overlooked Rashee Rice, and I didn't realize he had 100 yards because I was focused on Xavier Worthy,
Right.
excited about the shiny new toy. But looking back, man, he is something that is really going to be consistent, sustainable. We can expect for him to be like Pat, Pat being what I consider a veteran quarterback. When he throws the football, he's expecting people to be where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And I think that out of everybody on the team, Rashee Rice is probably the one, him and Travis Kelce, that he can count on to be exactly where he's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah. He's got that trust in him for sure. The timing's there. The trust is there. Man, I mean, it felt good. No drops.
No drops.
I was worried about Rashee because he has a tendency to drop the ball, but no drops. That's a plus, man.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice. What do you think? Rashee Rice over 1,000 yards, 100 catches this year?
I'm looking at him over 1,000 yards. I mean, he's got 100. He's not going to get 100 every game, but there's a lot of games in the season. He's going to, down the stretch, Rashee Rice is somebody that I feel like Pat, when Pat gets to looking for sometimes we get in trouble with that. But when Pat gets to looking for you, I feel like Rashee Rice is somebody that Pat is looking for. He's looking to
Oh
give
yeah,
him
for
the
sure.
football.
For sure.
And
He
yeah,
wants that kid to succeed. That's for
yeah,
sure. The talent is there. He sees it. I mean, the yards after catch is there. He's a big guy that can break tackles. I ain't gonna lie. I fucking
absolutely.
love it. I fucking love it. I ain't gonna lie. Next week you're gonna see me with my number 4 jersey.
Oh, most definitely. And then the good thing I'm reading here, Rashee Rice, 7 receptions, 103 yards on 9 targets, 7 out of 9. Breaking routes, 4 receptions, 75 yards. And then short sticks. He's really what I'm reading is basically there's not really a position you can put Rashee Rice in that he can't actually create space to get the football.
Right,
And
right.
that's one thing, like, yeah, he can run routes, but he can also, with the defense on him, he can create space on his own.
Yeah.
And that's what you like to see your receivers doing, not depending on Pat's arm, but
Right. Quite a bit of them throws was timing throws though, because he was pretty much across the middle and it was time. A couple of them barely squeezed through there.
yeah.
So it was definitely a good throw by Pat.
Oh, it has to be, honestly, in this league
Good
with the
catch
people.
too.
I mean, in this league with going against the Baltimore Ravens, in which I expect to be playing them again in the AFC Championship.
I don't think we will. I don't think we will.
I don't know who else would be,
The
of that
Bills.
caliber.
The Bills.
The
Did you
Bills.
see
I watched the game.
The Bills put up some points.
I did.
And I said Josh Allen wasn't going to miss a beat. Everybody at my barbershop swore he was going to fall off. But when you got a caliber quarterback like he is, high caliber, he makes people around him better. Now that he ain't got that pressure of trying to get Diggs the ball, I think he's going to really excel. And the Bills could be dangerous. Their defense looked a little suspect though.
Suspect defense didn't look as good. They struggled in the first half, and Josh Allen had to do too much in the second half to make that game, to take over that game. It was a momentum shift.
Right.
Josh Allen really pulled a Lamar where he's throwing the football, he's running the 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? He did a lot in that game.
Except he finished.
Yeah, he did. He did. But coming down the stretch in the playoffs, he's got to have some dependable and nice pieces around him, which there are some new guys that I haven't really paid attention to that they have. I'm excited for the Bills. So I'm excited to see what that looks like later on down the season once we, see who's who.
Here's one thing, the Ravens, Lamar, I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty open at the barbershop to how I really think Lamar is overrated and always been overrated because he's talented. He's getting better every year. I'm not gonna say he hasn't, but he just don't win nothing. Like regular season, Baltimore always wins regular season games, but then he only has 2 playoff wins, and nobody holds him accountable for just having 2 playoff wins.
I think it's to the accumulation of the same reason, kind of a cross-reference of sports, but why a lot of players didn't win championships when Michael Jordan was playing. Because you were playing against Michael Jordan. And so you just happen to be playing in the era, because I read another stat that said that Lamar Jackson has won 80+% of all his games, excluding the Kansas City Chiefs. Games.
Right. 1-5 against the Chiefs.
But everybody else, he's beating them. You know what I mean?
Why? Well, how come all week they didn't talk about how Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs own Lamar? Instead, everybody was picking the Ravens to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that because you look at the game last year, which a lot of people don't realize, that if L'Jarius Sneed doesn't make that, that punch the ball out on that, they're still down by 3 points. We still have the football in our hands.
Right.
Nothing is promised. So a lot of the narrative that the media built up was like, oh, they were supposed to beat us last year. So when we played them, even the first game of the season, people were expecting them and wanting them to beat us.
I mean, to be honest, you got the MVP, you got the number 1 rushing team, you got the number 1 defense, you're at home, you need vengeance on the Chiefs, and you lost. What a letdown. All right, let's move on. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Patrick Mahomes, 20 for 28, 291 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, sacked 2 times. What do you think of Pat's performance?
I think that Pat played very well, honestly, because there's a part of Pat that wants to do a lot of things that he shouldn't do, that we are accustomed to seeing. Pat knows this year he's going to be throwing the football, but what I liked is his poise and his discipline in the pocket, But also, when Pat scrambles outside the pocket, most quarterbacks that's bad. For Pat, he's a creator.
Oh, he's
So
a
I
smart
mean,
runner.
yeah. Maybe not the best runner, but he's
Right,
so
right.
effective. And so I think that Pat, he played a great game. I think our defense is even going to be even better than they were the game against Baltimore going
Right.
forward
Oh, we're
too.
definitely gonna get better. We'll talk about defense. Like we're
Yeah,
definitely gonna get better because that D line didn't show up like
yeah,
at all. At all. First quarter, it looked like they was about to make something happen, but then that D line just didn't show up at
yeah.
all.
And you see Pat, I mean, he completed 20 of 28 on his passes for 291. He also, with a throw, I don't know if it was in the second or third quarter, he passed Lynn Dawson as a franchise leader, most yards thrown by any quarterback as a Kansas City Chief. So shout out to Pat for that. I mean, he's
Hey,
already got the most yards
the best
um,
ever, man. He's
ever.
gonna have every fucking chief stat that you can fucking think of. Long
you
as he
know,
stays healthy, there's like every stat's gonna say Pat Mahomes.
yeah.
No
So
doubt
Pat,
about it.
I mean, he was great. I think he played exactly the way he was supposed to play.
Pat played good. The only thing that I need Pat to do is, sometimes he's a little too quick. It was a couple of them plays, like when he threw it to P. Ryan,
Yeah.
when he wasn't looking, you know what I mean? He anticipated it and it was cool, but P. Ryan just got there. So you kind of had to wait till he was ready. He wasn't ready. So, got to get that timing down. But I guess that will come with just them
Yeah.
practicing together, playing together. Also with Pacheco, he led him too far. He threw it too far,
Yeah.
just get that a little better touch. But I guess that's if you want him to be perfect. I mean, 20 out of 28, 291. I mean, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Other than a touchdown or two more, I mean, that was a perfect fucking game.
Yeah, and I really enjoy our backs being able to be multifaceted. When we can run screens, we can depend on good blocking, and we can also, in Creed Humphrey, another thing that makes Pat, just going back to Pat, another thing that makes Pat's job so easy is the highest paid center in NFL history in Creed Humphrey. I mean, the man, he does it all. Just imagine putting your hand in the dirt and protecting Pat, but also getting down there and
Right.
putting down some blocks. He's the best in the game.
I was just happy.
And
I was just happy he didn't have no high snaps, low snaps, none
yeah,
of that.
yeah, and he
Because
makes
last
Pat's
year that
job
was a
easy.
problem.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's keep it moving. What do you think of Pacheco's day? 15 attempts, 45 yards, 3 yards per attempt. 5 yards was his longest run. 1 TD. Does he need to be better than that?
I honestly don't think he needs to be better than that this year. I loved his intensity though. Watching it, you would have thought he had 80 yards, just how he runs.
Right.
But the biggest
I
thing
think he also had 2 catches for like 33 yards.
yeah. The biggest thing for Pacheco this year is to focus on having discipline and taking care of the football. That's
Right.
it. He's going to be great. He's always been. He's got a lot of energy. He wants to run that football. He's quick, but he's also learning to settle down and let our blockers do what they open up the gaps and do the necessary things. So he's really growing into a more of an assertive, like matured role where he's understanding what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it. And
Right.
that's the best thing that you can ask for. We still got P. Ryan. CEH is out. So, we're going to I look forward to seeing him as well. And
I can't even lie. I want to see more from Pacheco. 45 yards, 3 yards per attempt. Them is Clyde Hilaire numbers.
Yeah.
And he's clearly not Clyde Hilaire. So I need to see him break one. I need to see him stop running straight back into the blocker, into the O-line. He's running straight into him. I understand he's a power back, but he got some speed too.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see him bust one. But I also want to see a 2-back set every now and then and give him a lead blocker. Like we got Steele, run an I formation or some kind of 2-back set where Steele's the lead blocker. And then, if Pacheco can get past that first guy, then it's endless on what he could do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and you see Pacheco runs the football on the end zone. You see Pat, which is kind of pushing, which I don't really like that too much. But
it's game time moments. He's like, man, get your ass in there.
Yeah, man. So honestly, I get what you're saying. I do love the fact that he did have some passing. If you add all his all-purpose yards together, he had a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
But most definitely, we do definitely want to see him running.
He got to break one. He's got to break one. You got to have more than 3 yards per attempt. But the way we was moving it in the air, we didn't really give him a chance to get hot. And
not at all.
Nobody can get hot off 15 attempts either. So
Yeah, 100%.
So I'll give him that.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Sticking with the offense. How do you think the O-line held up against the Ravens pass rush? I think Mahomes was sacked twice, and he had quite a bit of hurries. I don't know how many hurries
Yeah,
he
he
had.
did. He did, but I think that they did pretty good, just considering who the Ravens are on defense. I think that they played semi okay. I would give them a grade of like a B minus on the line, but we got a shout out to the rookie. Man, I can't even think of his name. I'm gonna mess it up. But
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
that's a lot. I think he plays left tackle, but
Yeah.
that's a lot of
Kingsley Suamataia.
yeah, man.
Suamataia.
He played very well. He played very well. I was paying attention. I was watching him, and he played very well. That's a tough position, playing one of the hardest
Yeah.
teams in the NFL. You're a
He gave
rookie.
up, I think he gave up 1 sack. He gave up two QB pressures, and he had the 1 holding call.
Yeah,
Not bad for a rookie in his
not
first
bad for a
NFL game.
rookie. I mean, he's
At
only going
left
to get
tackle.
better.
At left tackle at
Yeah,
that. Like,
which is tough, So I really gonna learn to appreciate him, but yeah, I think they did okay. I think they did do what they had to do. I really want to see us because I think that Andy Reid called a great game. I really do. I really think our coaching staff called all the great plays, but I really want to see us really show some discipline when it comes to protecting Pat. The last thing we want is for him to get injured again. And so I really want to see our offensive line just really be consistent all year long.
right. Got to stay healthy. Got to protect Pat. Jawan Taylor, some false starts. I wish that would go away, but I mean, I guess we're gonna get a couple of them a game. No matter what. But we'll see if that gets any better.
Yeah, yeah. Jawan Taylor, I think that there's some things that he does well, but definitely, we paid the man. He's got to go out there and do the job he's supposed to do. And one thing I do want to add before I forget was George Karlaftis. Man, he
Hold
had
on,
like
we about to get there.
I am so sorry, man.
Here we go. Let's talk defense. How do you
Okay.
think the defense did? Gave up 172 rushing yards, 273 passing yards, but only gave up 20 points.
Yeah. I think defense was great. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't like Lamar scrambling like that. I mean, that really opens up a lot for him to use his legs. But I do like the fact that our defense looked suspect coming off that first drive that the Baltimore Ravens had. I mean, they ran it down the field on us and just punched us right in the mouth. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long day. But
so we gave up 13 rushing first downs, 11 passing first downs, and we were 7 for 14 on third down. Those stats got to get better, especially on third down. A lot of them rushing first downs came on third down.
And a lot of it was Lamar Jackson. I don't like to see Lamar running those because he does hurt us. But I do enjoy the fact that we held Derrick Henry to 40-something yards. Because what it looked like just from that opening drive was that
he was going to run it down our throat.
Day. Yeah, right. and the man probably had less than 10 yards for the whole second half.
So, which is crazy because, that with that coming out saying Lamar saying, well, if we would have ran it, they would have had no chance. We would have guaranteed beat them. And then they come out, they run it down our throat, they score, and then they don't get Henry the ball no more. I mean, literally 14 carries, 45 yards or something, and 1 TD the whole game. 13 carries or something.
I think they were trying to get ahead of the game. I mean, it's hard to call that. A lot of people are like, man, how can you be a professional offensive coordinator or a coach and not run the football? But you're looking at Patrick Mahomes, you're looking at Xavier Worthy, you're looking at Pat get down the field, very quickly, or at least extending the drive and time of possession. And so you're really trying to play off of those factors of like, man, we don't want to get into a hole where we're down by 2 possessions in the third quarter and we're dependent on Derrick Henry to run the football.
Right. But if you would have ran him early,
you wouldn't have had to worry about it.
Then you might not have been down 2 TDs.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Because
100%.
You feel like you would want to keep us off the field. I mean, especially when you talked about running being the key to beating us.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. I guess
100%.
that's coaching, right? That's
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Derrick Henry will be good down the stretch for them, and but at the end of the day, I really enjoy the fact that even though it looks like, man, our defense gave up 20 points. Well, I think
20,
that
20 points is good. I mean,
against the
against the
Baltimore
Ravens,
Ravens,
right?
I
20
think that's
points is
great.
solid.
Coming into next week, we play the Bengals. I think our defense looks even better next week.
Right.
And so most definitely, I
All
enjoyed
right.
that.
Here we go. Nick Bolton, to me, had a tough game. 7 tackles, 3 solo, 4 assists. But to me, his pass coverage wasn't very good. I mean, it seemed like he was the one holding Likely on all them passes, and
Yeah.
Likely had a huge day. Will we miss Willie Gay in pass coverage? And what did you think about Nick Bolton's performance?
I definitely wasn't overly impressed with Nick Bolton. I honestly, I think this is Nick Bolton's last year for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs, the organization, has to make a decision of who they're going to pay, who we're going to keep, and I think that we enjoyed Nick Bolton, but due to us having Drew Tranquil now, and due to all these variable factors of us how good we've played without him, for him to come back and to just kind of be subpar, I think that we're going to be moving in another direction after this year. For
Yeah, you
sure.
think so? I mean, I think he's gonna try to demand a lot of money. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's gonna get it. Maybe last year we thought he would get it, but then when he came back from being injured, he wasn't his best, but he still was good, but he
Yeah.
wasn't like, wow, that Nick Bolton, like second in the NFL in tackles
Yeah.
or whatever he was
And
as a
look how good
linebacker.
Tranquil played when you got Willie Gay and Nick Bolton not playing last year, and Drew Tranquil comes in. He's covering wide receivers. He's
Yeah,
covering.
he didn't
I'm
do
doing it all.
he also didn't do too good in pass coverage.
Yeah,
Chanel was
true.
spying. I mean, we seen Chanel all over the field. I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't he didn't get a whole lot of tackles, but he was in on a whole lot of
Oh
tackles.
yeah, most definitely.
So I was impressed by that. I think that guy would be really good if he doesn't hurt himself by playing too hard.
No, no. I think that really our what we've learned to do is we've learned to really let players grow with us. So I really like that. I really enjoy that a lot. That we've kind of put an effect on people to where it's like, you know what, we don't need to draft the best people. We are creating people, and like we talk about from not Nick Bolton, but Leo Chanel, George Karlaftis, all these younger players are playing just as good as people.
Right.
At one point last year, I think it was Karlaftis had 10 sacks, and so did Chris Jones.
Yeah, and,
you
and
know,
Mike Dana had 6.5 before he got injured.
and he played less games than both of them. You
Right.
know what I mean? So we are really growing a culture of young players. Look at where we're paying with our wide receivers. Tyreek Hill made more money this year than if you added all of our wide receivers together
Right.
right now that we actively have on our roster.
Right.
So Kansas City Chiefs, our organization is top class.
Here we go. Chris Jones with a sack force fumble, otherwise pretty quiet. What would you rank the D line's performance?
Man, I think our D line was actually pretty good. One thing
Uh,
I've learned about one thing I've learned about Chris Jones is he doesn't always do the right thing. There's times where I see him disappear for quarters at a time.
yeah.
A lot of that comes from him being chipped by multiple people.
Most of
But
the time, I think he struggles when we move him around,
yeah,
and we didn't really move him around. He was pretty much right there at nose tackle, and I didn't see him. I hate when he's playing defensive end, honestly, because I just feel
yeah.
like he's too slow to be a
But they were
D end. But
holding him. I did watch and the rest. They blew their whistle. They didn't. The rest were horrible on both sides.
Karlaftis got held a lot too. I was
Yeah,
I
I saw
was
a lot
I
of
was
holding.
yelling for the Karlaftis. They were grabbing his jersey like just
Yeah.
insane. But what would you what give me a ranking? What A B C D E F? You give him an
Oh
A?
man, I definitely don't give him an A. B
I'm gonna
minus
give
at
him I'm gonna give him a C plus, man. I
yeah. I
mean,
was about to say B minus C plus.
we didn't get much pressure on Lamar at all. Like Karlaftis, like he was working, but man, he was looking slow. He just didn't get in there. He didn't have many tackles. The other side, I mean, Dana and what's the 97? What's his name from Lee Summit?
Oh yeah,
He wasn't
yeah,
getting no pressure. Like, oh man, we just could not get any
yeah,
pressure. And they had like 3 new offensive linemen. Plus, they had Andrews helping with the offensive line. So I thought we were going to kill their offensive line personally, but
Yeah, well, it's hard with Lamar. He's so shifty. I mean, you can be as good as you want. A lot of those plays that Spags is dialing up are QB contained. So we're really just trying to keep him there.
right,
We want him to throw the football. We want him to throw the football, and he uses his legs. And that's
right. They
one
said
thing
they had
about
Chanel and Spy the whole
yeah,
game.
yeah. So it's really hard. And a lot of times you're playing Lamar Jackson. You know, Spags has got a different set of problems on his hands next week. That's probably a lot better in a more rewarding situation than he had this week. You know, when you're
Right.
dialing up defense to try to stop somebody that's good with their legs, and you're also trying to keep Derrick Henry at bay, but also trying to not let Zay Flowers and others. And you know what? That's how that likely guy on the Ravens. That's how he had a good game
Yeah,
because we were holding everybody else down. And so, who else are you going to throw the football to?
true, true. Who was the MVP of the game? Pick one on offense and pick one on defense.
Man, I really think on offense, I'm going to say that while everyone is saying Xavier Worthy, I'm going to go with Rashee Rice. I just love consistency over those few plays that just Xavier
Right.
Worthy wowed us. I just love that consistent 100 and something yards, running the right routes, doing all the right things, chipping away at it. 7 out of 9. You know, I think Rashee Rice most certainly. And then on defense, man, that's really tough. That's really tough because I wouldn't say Chris Jones.
Nope. I wouldn't either.
And that's really tough. I'm trying to think. I mean, it was kind of really committee this
I'm
game.
gonna give it to 2 people. So first off, on offense, I got Rashee Rice also because I feel like if Rashee Rice wasn't doing what he was doing, then I don't think Xavier Worthy would have easily scored the 2 touchdowns that he did because they were so worried about what Rashee was doing. You know, boom, Xavier was wide open on the passing touchdown.
Uh-huh.
On the running touchdown, he used his speed, you know, and just fucking burnt everybody.
Yeah.
And on defense, I'm gonna give it to Jalen Watson, leading tackler, and Reed with 8 tackles.
Yeah.
Reed was out there hitting. Jalen Watson was out there hitting. They were all over the ball. Every time you seen 3 people around the ball all the time. You seen Jalen Watson, you seen Reed, and you seen Chanel.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm going to go, just thinking back on it, I'm looking at my notes. Got to go with Karlaftis. He recorded 6 pressures on Lamar and, you know, matching.
Not one touch.
True. But I think that he was really bringing, if you make Lamar feel uncomfortable, that's where he's making the bad decisions. A lot of people looked at, man, he had multiple chances to kill us down on that last drive before the likely play. He missed Zay Flowers. A lot of people are like, how you missed that? He missed another receiver right before that, and then he hit likely. So 3-play turnaround. But the reason why he was missing them is because we were putting pressure on him, you know. And so, like, that's something that I enjoy to see. I think when you're playing someone that's not Lamar, those plays go a different way. You know, likely doesn't catch that football.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, Karlaftis is my guy, but 1 assisted tackle and 1 tackle, I can't give him MVP.
Yeah.
I'd give it to Chris Jones with the strip fumble. I mean the sack fumble before I'd give it to him. But yeah, it's all good. We
I
played
love the committee though. I love them winning. You know, just
as
everybody.
a whole, we got it done. We held them to 20 points. We can be better. We will be better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
here we go. I got one more question. Overall, what's your grade for the Chiefs as a whole in week 1 versus the Ravens?
I would give us a B minus, dang near a C. And the only reason why is us not executing on plays. This game should not have been that close. We talked about it earlier. It shouldn't have been that close. There's a lot of key plays where if Pat delivers the football correctly, if we catch the football, it's a touchdown. I watched that about 3 or 4 plays like that during the game, and man, it hurt because those are the ones you really want back. I mean, I think we should have won at least by 14 plus points
Right, for
in this
sure.
game. And so I give us a B minus or C plus.
Yeah.
kind of somewhere in that area because I feel like
I'm
we
not
didn't
gonna give
execute.
us I won't give us a C plus. I give us a B minus. I like that because execution kept us from getting an A because like you said, we could have easily had 2 more TDs out there.
Yeah,
We should have been better on third down. 7 for 14 on third down. You can't give us anything more than a B minus. Now, if we would have cut the
yeah,
third downs in half, we would have got them to, executed on a few more plays, got a few more scoring drives. We would have had an A for sure. I think a B
yeah,
minus is good. Opening game of the season at home, beating the Ravens 27-20. You can't ask for more than a B minus.
yeah. Most definitely, I agree with that. And then going into the game next week, I really think that we got a lot. There's a lot that we can look at that we done well. There's a lot that we could tidy up. But overall, I really think that the Chiefs were leaving this game kind of satisfied, just knowing that we have a lot more to offer. We got Hollywood Brown that hopefully he'll be coming back. I don't look for him to really do too much coming into the next game. But I do love the fact that we didn't even have him and our
Right.
offense was rolling,
Right, right. I mean, just imagine when we do add him in. I think he'll come in and make an impact personally because he was ready to play. Like he worked out with Pat from the day he signed. He was working out with Pat. That's all
Yeah.
you've seen. I want to see that chemistry. I want to see game time chemistry. Him, Rasheed, and Brown, they were working together all the
Yeah.
time. Like I'm excited to see that. I think, man, this offense is just going to be insane.
Yeah, and the biggest thing takeaway from the Baltimore Ravens game to kind of conclude that I was impressed with was just getting the win. I think this was more important of a win than what a casual fan will realize going into the postseason,
Yeah,
having
we had to
that
make a
one up.
statement.
Yeah, and also having that one up game on them. We don't want to
Right,
go on the road like we did last year.
right.
We don't.
I
Kansas
mean,
City
last
doesn't
year
want that.
that's like
Yeah,
that was the hardest Super Bowl win maybe all time.
I agree.
Besides when the Ravens won all road games,
Yeah.
uh, with Ray Lewis, like they went on the road, they won all road games. That was tough, but they didn't play as good as teams as we played. I don't feel like.
Never. I don't think anyone did when you look at it from a divisional game with
Right.
Miami to the Bills to Baltimore to San Francisco. Those are the best teams in the NFL. The irony of all that was that Pat was chosen as the fourth best player last
Right.
year,
That's
and he beat
insane.
all three of the teams before those players before him in that same stretch.
Well, supposedly that's a player's vote, and supposedly they start that vote in like November.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so he wasn't playing his best. You know what I mean? It's like somebody said that the Chiefs was almost bored, and like we wasn't tested for real. And then once we
Yeah.
got to the playoffs, we got tested. Pat stepped it up, got the shit done.
Yes, sir.
Marcus says, I thought Chanel played well. Marcus, we definitely think Chanel played well.
Yeah.
He was a ball hog. He was all over the field. I mean, I can't ask for much more from him. I mean, that guy was in there.
Yeah, and the good thing is that what I love about Chanel is his attitude. I watched the show, The Franchise.
Yeah,
I
he's a
don't know if
positive guy.
I don't know if a lot of people watch the show, The Franchise on YouTube or whatever. It's a Chiefs show. It's like a documentary.
Yeah.
Been watching it for the last few years. They did a part on him, and man, people like him. I mean, he works hard. He does a lot of the unseen things. He's working hard. He keeps his head down and grinds. He don't ask for attention. And that's what you got to love and respect about him. He goes out there working hard every single game, giving his 100%. So definitely, Marcus, I agree with you there for sure.
For sure. Appreciate the comment. Hey man, we're 39 minutes in. I think we go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks
Loved
for
having
having me.
you. You
Yes,
know
sir.
your stuff. I wouldn't have had you on here if you didn't. So I knew this was gonna be an easy show to do.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna do a Bengals show. So get you back on here, man. We'll talk Bengals football and Chiefs football, and we'll
Yeah.
get some predictions, some score predictions, and
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blessing, man. T. Higgins is hurt, and they got a lot of things going on with their
A lot
wide
of stuff
receiver
going on there.
So
Woo.
we'll have a lot to talk
Hey,
about, man.
and Burrow looked like shit.
Oh man, and I got him as the starter on my fantasy team. So.
Good luck with that. Hey, I'll get back with you, man. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you.
All right, man.
Hey, all right, we out. Chiefs Kingdom. Let's get it.
Cheese.